What up? It's your boy T-Man Reaction. Today is Wrestling Wednesday, so I'm about to check out another video from Wrestling 10W wrestler who refused to break kayfabe. A lot of people these days say kayfabe is dead, this and that as well too, but in the same time, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool to keep the kayfabe alive, man. It's just what makes wrestling, know what I mean? It's made wrestling part of bigger than life as well too, know what I mean? I know kayfabe is dead, that's why some folks don't care about the face and heel, but some folks will still keep the kayfabe alive as well too, or they're going from one company to another, or just to show that they're just to keep their personal persona behind closed doors, well too. Well, than that, without further ado, let's check out 10 wrestlers who refuse to break kayfabe. Let's get it.
This wrestling is not for real, is it?
Oh, yup. Yup.
Does that fucking feel fake, huh? Does that feel fake?
11 WWE wrestlers who refuse to break kayfabe. Number 11, Cody Rhodes.
11. It's the temple's 11. All right, cool.
Kayfabe is pretty much dead in modern day WWE. However, certain wrestlers, such as the face of WWE, Cody Rhodes, are attempting to keep the elements intact. During his infamous appearance on the MMA Hour, Rhodes was asked outright when exactly he found out that he'd be losing to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Rhodes could have shattered kayfabe here, but he decided to answer by saying, "It's a great question. I'm of the thought that there is a movie, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. There is a quote in there that I keep getting wrong. When the fact becomes the legend, print the legend. For the purpose of this answer and that question, what I'll tell you is that I found out in the ring, the moment that he hit me with the spear and pinned me 1, 2, 3. That's when I found out." This was a fantastic answer from Rhodes.
It was.
There was zero benefit from him exposing the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then this was like kind of like that new thing they got coming to Netflix, going to be questionable, when they pulled the curtain, I forgot what it's called. But at the same time, like, I it's good, but at the same time, it's still also great to keep kayfabe alive, though.
This manner. Number 10, Bray Wyatt. But for Bray
Wyatt's
initial character to become a major success, it needed to be sold with conviction. Luckily, WWE had one of the most talented wrestlers of the modern era portraying the iconic character so that it wouldn't be an issue. When the character first debuted on NXT television, Wyatt and WWE officials such as Dusty Rhodes were adamant that Wyatt kept kayfabe at all times. Wyatt really had to live the character out during his day-to-day life. Wyatt would even go so far as attending jury service in full character, and he shared this story during a passage in the official NXT book. "I began losing my mind on a very real level. I became obsessed with this character. When Husky Harris failed on the main roster, he went all in with the Wyatt persona. I was going to jury duty in my hometown and Dusty made me go to jury duty as Bray. Dusty told me, this is the perfect exercise. Become Bray. I literally went to jury duty as Bray Wyatt. I was so immersed in the character that I didn't break once. Obviously, I didn't get picked for jury duty, but I had the white pants, Hawaiian shirt, the whole 9 yards. There was no fragments of Husky.
Thank God you didn't get picked, man.
Harris. Husky Harris was dead, and he was to stay dead. I was Bray Wyatt. We were one. Wyatt's dedication to the character was on full display every time he was on screen, and there are no doubt endless stories of the WWE legend keeping kayfabe outside of the squared circle. Number 9, The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, well,
The Undertaker is the undisputed king of keeping kayfabe. Yes. For the best part of 30 years, The Undertaker kept kayfabe intact.
The Michael Jordan documentary for to find out the real the man behind it as well too, man. Because when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, he sounds so different though. I forgot the name of the darn thing he said. I forgot what he said. I forgot what it was called. But yeah, that documentary had. Hold on, what was that documentary? The Undertaker documentary. It was like almost like the Last Dance. Last Man Standing, I think. Last Ride. The Last Ride. Yup. Yeah, he took. That was the first time we ever heard his actual voice, man.
Times, and it even had to turn down mega money media appearances in order to protect his legendary character. The Undertaker would even keep kayfabe in the 90s by sticking to the dead man persona when granting Make-A-Wish grants. It was often claimed that the dead man did these wishes in full character, and on one occasion even arrived in a hearse. Whilst it sounds crazy, the young fans would have loved seeing their favorite wrestler in full costume and full character, and this was a great way to not break the magical illusion for them. Number 8, Aleister Black.
Yeah,
During the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the top stories on the Raw brand focused on Seth Rollins targeting wrestlers' eyes, but one of the wrestlers he successfully ambushed was Aleister Black. During a physical commotion on Raw, Buddy Murphy, who was Rollins' protege at the time, would pierce Black's eye on the ring steps. This was one of the most brutal spots of the PG era, and it showed that WWE were pushing the boundaries of PG. Black would begin to wear an eye patch to sell the injury, and after the angle came to a close, he still decided to sell the injury by wearing a contact lens in the supposedly injured eye. Black would even wear the lens when he was away from the squared circle, as when he was supposedly completely out of character, he would still be seen in public selling the injury. When the former NXT champion was cut from his WWE deal, he even decided to sell the injury at independent appearances, and when he signed with AEW, he insisted that the contact lens should remain, and he should continue selling the injury. When Black returned to WWE in 2025, he was still selling the eye injury. That's right, 5 years later, Black was still committed to the world of kayfabe. This type of commitment to kayfabe in the modern era is virtually unprecedented, and it goes to show how much love and passion Black has for the world of pro wrestling. Number 7, the Big Boss Man. During the 80s, it was strictly forbidden to break kayfabe. Wrestlers would often go to extreme lengths to keep kayfabe intact. Early on during his career, the legendary Big Boss Man was working as the bodyguard for Jim Cornette. One day before a show, a taxi driver accidentally slammed the door of the car onto Boss Man's hand. Despite Boss Man being in total agony, hundreds of fans were watching on, so we had to pretend like nothing had just happened. Boss Man's gimmick at the time revolved around the fact that he couldn't feel any pain, so Boss Man felt like he had no choice but to sell the incident, keeping kayfabe alive. Number 6, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was a total master at many of the elements of pro wrestling. Rhodes' desire to keep kayfabe was one of his most notable traits. During the angle which saw the Four Horsemen break Rhodes' arm, Rhodes wanted to sell the angle as if he'd been legitimately hurt. Rhodes therefore didn't just use a cast on his arm to appear at wrestling shows, he even wore it inside his own home. That's right, inside the safety and comfort of his own home, Rhodes decided to keep kayfabe and fool his own family. Cody Rhodes has shared this story in the past, and this is likely why Rhodes himself is so eager to keep kayfabe in modern-day WWE. Number 5, Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Whilst it's common knowledge that Rey and Dominic Mysterio don't legitimately hate each other, for the past 3 years, both have gone the extra mile to sell their kayfabe hatred. The two are now never seen in public together, and they even stopped traveling together. Dirty Dom now travels with fellow heels Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and the two don't even interact in any capacity when they cross paths. This must be extremely difficult for the two, and they can go even so far as sitting separate whenever they attend any public events. Notably, when both men went to a UFC show together, they decided to sit on opposite sides of the arena to sell the idea that the hatred was genuine and raw. Number 4, Chris Jericho. Now, upon turning into a menacing heel in 2008, Chris Jericho drastically altered everything about his character and presentation. Fan meets and greets would be no more, and Jericho insisted on having no merchandise whatsoever. Additionally, Jericho began to live the gimmick by walking around in a suit and basically being the most miserable man on the planet. Jericho would also keep kayfabe whenever he would casually...
And it's pretty interesting though, because you saw how Jericho been, even as a heel before, he would never wear a suit like that. When he had his little new gimmick, he was all in with it though. It's crazy.
Interact with fans in a public place. Hilariously, in 2008, Jericho was in an elevator with a young fan and his father, and Jericho refused to even look at the two. It was said that the father got annoyed at Jericho, but Jericho declined to engage in any capacity. Jericho was of the belief that the character would fall apart if fans knew that he was a nice guy outside of the ring. And this is one of the key reasons as to why his heel character was such an overwhelming success. Number 3, Chad Gable. Now, the work of Chad Gable has received overwhelming praise in recent years. Gable is a talent that makes everything work, and Gable is a name that is prone to keeping kayfabe outside of the ring. In 2024, Gable was ambushed by the debuting Wyatt Six faction, and the next Sunday, Gable decided to sell the attack at church. According to Gable, during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, a little kid asked him what happened to the cut on his head, and he explained that he went to hospital to get it fixed. I went to church that Sunday and I ran into a little kid who was watching. I was kind of hiding my head from him, and he was making his way around me to get a look at my head. Where did it go? I fixed it and went to the hospital. It was bad, What did they do to you? You'll have to tune in tomorrow night. They were into it. And this was such a smart kayfabe answer from Gable, and he's definitely a name that understands the importance of keeping the magic alive, especially for the younger demographic. Number 2, Bobby Lashley and Lana. One of the biggest angles of 2019 saw Bobby Lashley begin to date Lana. WWE expected the angle to deliver huge business for the company, and they insisted that everyone involved in the storyline kept kayfabe outside.
What was they thinking, saying they want to sell business? No, the fuck it wasn't. Jesus Christ.
The ring. Lashley and Lana went to the extreme with this, as despite Lana being in a legitimate relationship with Rusev, Lashley and Lana would act like they were together off screen. That's right, they would travel around the world together so fans could purposely see the two as a couple. This was an interesting approach, and to their credit, there was some discourse on social media at the time that asked whether or not the two could have started dating in real life. Ultimately, this was all still a storyline, and even though a lot of the content of the story arc was heavily panned by fans, it was greatly appreciated that WWE at least attempted to convince fans that what they were seeing was completely genuine and authentic. And number 1,
Kane, of course.
One of the most notable elements of Kane's persona when he first debuted in WWE was that WWE and Kane kept kayfabe strictly intact whenever Kane
even in movies
was away from the ring. When Kane would leave the arena, he would always be wearing some type of disguise, and this was so that fans didn't spot Kane's actual face. Media appearances would be few and far between for the Big Red Machine, and if he did appear in any capacity, he rarely spoke. But when Kane was unmasked in 2003, fans believed that this would be the end of Kane keeping to kayfabe. However, this wasn't the case. He still opted to wear his eye makeup out in public, and he would even release an autobiography in 2005 that was written completely in kayfabe, which was a first for the world of pro wrestling. But there you have it, folks.
Hey, and he was kind of in kayfabe when he was doing See No Evil as well too. I heard, man. But anyway, this was a good video to check out as well too, man. Other than that, if you like my reaction to this, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T. We're signing off. One love.